Hey, welcome back to Have a Good Time. This is your host, John Davey. Thanks for being here. I just started a Facebook page for this podcast yesterday, so if you're listening to this, go hit the like button on the Facebook page, and you can get regular updates if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already. So a couple of things. Today's Monday, April 17th. Man, I can't believe we're flying through this year so fast. Seems like just yesterday it was November. So I do this transcription work on rev.com, and they, one of the jobs that I got the other night, was this guy talking about painting, and it sounded like I had to transcribe the audio file for a video. It sounded like he was on, television, public television. And I was like, I had just recently watched some Bob Ross videos, and I was like, this guy sounds like a lot of the things he's saying and what he's describing in this audio file sounds like Bob Ross videos that I've watched. And I kept thinking it, just a lot of his like mannerisms and turns of phrase, etc., and his description of what he was painting. So I transcribed it. He was a lot of fun to listen to. I thought he was maybe Indian at first. Turns out he's European or German, Swiss, or something like that. So then I was like, who is this guy? So I looked up the customer name and found this website, and it was this guy, Bill Alexander. And I was like, this dude, it's like basically just ripping off Bob Ross. And the more I listened to it, the more I was just pretty sure he was just taking Bob Ross's idea and implementing it in his own show. And he's this old guy. And so but he's a real character, a real delight to listen to. And I found his videos on YouTube and was watching some of them. And then I was telling my friends yesterday who came over for brunch about that. It's just this funny little thing that I discovered. And so then my friend Evan, who you guys have probably heard before on the podcast, he was looking up articles about this guy, Bill Alexander, and it turns out that Bill Alexander is the guy who trained Bob Ross and who was his mentor, and they had this sort of falling out when Bob Ross, a couple of years into his career, apparently stopped mentioning his mentor, Bill Alexander, on the show, and, had built his painting thing into a, multi-million-dollar paint supply empire. And so this guy that I was listening to and transcribing, he was not ripping off Bob Ross. It turns out it was the other way around. Bob Ross was ripping him off. And apparently eventually not giving him credit for it. So that's pretty amazing. And the fact that this guy is still alive and he's still out there doing stuff is sort of poetically beautiful in a way. So anyway, even though he never attained the measure of fame or success that Bob Ross did, there it is. He's still kicking. So who gets the last laugh, Anyhow, this is another strange thing I've been experiencing. I had these teeth extractions last summer, and because I've been having other dental work done recently, I've now been experiencing, for the first time maybe in my life, phantom pain in the area where I used to have these other teeth. And I guess it's just, I was reading about it. I was like, why am I experiencing this phantom pain? And apparently it's because if you have some stuff done in or around that surface, then it can trigger neurological something or other in your brain, and you experience that. So I thought that was sort of fascinating and frankly a little bit uncomfortable, but I don't know, have any of you guys, listeners, experienced phantom pain before, let me know. And maybe I'll shoot us an email or write it in the comments section or something, and maybe I'll talk about it on the next podcast. So I don't know exactly what time I started here. I assume it's been less than the daily 10 minutes, but yesterday I had a good conversation with Evan Zimmerman again, just at our apartment, because him and his wife Becca come for brunch sometimes, and it was a smaller gathering than usual, but it ended up being a really nice time. We talked about all kinds of stuff. It was another wide-ranging topic wide-ranging conversation, but I wish I would have recorded it now. All of this stuff went down in Berkeley yesterday, and I don't want to get into that right now because it's a big topic and there's a lot having to do with it. But we did talk about our friend Dustin. Hey, Dustin, how he started his own podcast now that he's going to be doing maybe weekly or something. I've mentioned that before, but it's cool to see that he directly cited this show as part of the inspiration for doing that, and it's neat to see that there's already, even though this show is very young, there's a measurable impact or change in the world, some ideas that have been recorded and thrown out into the internetosphere that have come in part as a result of this show. So that's cool. Keep it up. If anybody else wants to do it, I'd sure be happy to listen to it. I've listened to both of Dustin's podcasts so far, and it's cool. He's insightful, and I think you guys should listen to it too. I think it's called Microphone Therapy, and you can find it at his YouTube channel, which I believe is just Dustin Seth, but let me just verify that here. A second. Yeah, so anybody who has any stories about phantom pain should let me know, and we can talk more about that. Let's see, what's Dustin's YouTube channel here. There's another Dustin Seth, actually. It's some skinny white guy with his shirt off. That's his channel. He has 7 videos. Let's see. Dustin Diaz. Yeah, it's Dustin. Oh, let's see. Just look up Dustin Seth 1, and you can find those. Microphone Therapy, episode 1 and episode 2. I'll share a link actually in the description of the video and the podcast, so you guys can listen to that too. So thanks for listening today. This is Have a Good Time. I'm your host, John Davey. Tell me about that phantom pain, fam. See you later. Hey, like us on Twitter too. Good Time Pod at Twitter. Thanks. Have a good one.